Greetings and peace. I hope you and yours are doing well today, wherever you might be watching this from. And also, I would like to start this with Nur Alaikum, which is the greeting of the Fatimiyya Sufi order. I want to give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of the blessings that He has given me in this life. Also, thanks and gratitude to all of the prophets and messengers that have walked this earth. Peace be upon them and their companions and families. I'd like to start this with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most High, the Most Merciful. And this, it's a interesting talk that I wanted to do, which has been on my mind, especially with recent events. And this is basically a survival guide that I'm making for Muslim gang stalking victims or targeted individuals, as you have this phenomena going on in the world or the community, especially in the Western world, where those that are of a certain frequency, a certain wavelength, doing certain kind of work or activism are put on a certain list to be watched or stalked or harassed or intimidated and those kind of things. And this has happened recently with my works with Sheikh Wahid Azal of the Fatimiyya Sufi order, especially concerning the aspects of the Baha'i faith, which has this front of love, light, and happiness. But if you look at many of their documents, such as that comes from their headquarters in Haifa, Israel, and I'll put that in the description below, the institution of counselors and how you have to watch people or investigate people or keep an eye on people who are an enemy of the faith or that are going against the faith in any way. So it's like mob tactics that are there. So that's basically what has happened, not only with Sheikh Wahid Azal, with the passing of his wife, which has those implications where you do have that hidden hand that will use other elements to try to get to you, but it can't be traced back to that hidden hand basically in a chain of evidence. And that's what it is, that you're dealing with an enemy that operates that way. And that's exactly, even with me recently, it was yesterday, it was a group of 15 to 20 young African American men. And it's unfortunate that the enemy always uses African American brothers and sisters against other minorities when it comes down to it. So they were standing outside of my home, and I believe they were probably looking for my home, and they mistakenly thought for the neighbor's home as my home, and they were putting all of these projectiles in the air and just broke the individual's front porch window open, and they ran away. As soon as I came out to see what was going on, they were gone like the wind, which goes to show you that these guys were professionals. And it's just an aspect of intimidation tactics that are there trying to get you to stop what you're doing. I mean, especially with my YouTube channel, I had it since 2019, and I'm talking about things that no one else is refusing to touch, no matter what group or esoteric circle that they belong to. And of course, I represent myself only as a free man under national, international laws of free speech. I do not represent any individual or organization. I represent my own thoughts alone on this platform. So there's that. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. And of course, I reported it to the local law enforcement as the good law-abiding citizen that I am. I never had any trouble in my life, and I always had a clean record. So I always do the right thing by making sure I go through the proper channels of authority. And of course, I mean, what can they do at the end if the person is not in front of them? So I was only advised to make sure that if I see those individuals again, to immediately call the authorities, which I will do. And at the same time, I will make sure I have other measures of protection as well, such as setting up the proper surveillance in my home in front so I can know who these people are. That way I'm helping not only myself, but I'm helping the local law enforcement as well by keeping an eye on whatever's going on in front of my home. In this case, it helps in many ways, and it's encouraged at this time in America when so much high crime is taking over many major cities all across the country. So, that said, it just goes to show you that, I mean, it just kind of validates that I'm on the right path, that what I'm doing is shaking up something to a core where you get put on a certain list to be noticed or targeted or stalked. And this is not anything new to me. I mean, I've been dealing with this stuff in the post 9/11 world, growing up as a Muslim for a long time, where even you have people that come in the mosques and the communities and they pretend to be your friends, but at the same time they are from any said agency that is there to set you up in a fake sting op or to make you look like the bad guy so they can keep pushing their narrative or continue to get their government funding for whatever said agency is there to try to get you into whatever kind of trouble that they want to get you. So thankfully I was educated on how to maneuver and dodge these people and identify these people. So I'm educating other Muslims as well, especially living in America, is always be mindful of who you trust. It doesn't matter how knowledgeable they seem, how many things in common that you might have. You always got to look at this element, because in the spiritual war, they can even use people from your past against you. People you went to school with, people you least suspect. Anything to try to get you to get under your skin or try to sabotage you physically, morally, spiritually, mentally. And that's just the nature of the beast that you're dealing with, is when you awaken, you send off a wavelength to the masters around you. But at the same time, the bad guys find out who you are too. So that, it just comes with the territory. I mean, it's not restricted to the American front alone. You can go anywhere in the world. There is that struggle between the good and the bad. So just be mindful of anyone that's presenting any kind of information where they're telling you to condemn America or speak out against America or be involved in anything that goes against the principles of the country that you live in. Because as Muslims, you're taught to respect the laws and foundations of the nation you live in. Whether it's America, whether it's England, whether it's Pakistan, wherever you live, you're supposed to be a law-abiding citizen, right? So anyone that comes into your life or into the community of your mosque or anything like that and tells you to do that, you make sure you tell them to take a hike, and you make sure that whoever that individual is reported, because that's the only way. That's the only way you identify these people who not only infiltrate mosques and surveil Muslims. And you know, it's so unfortunate, because there have even been Supreme Court cases and so many people that have campaigned against the surveillance of Muslims that goes on till this day. And Muslims are the most law-abiding people in this country, with the education, with the workforce, lawyers, doctors, engineers, independent business owners, entrepreneurs, creating jobs. And that's the unfortunate thing sometimes. And, you know, my love to my African-American brothers and sisters as well. But unfortunately, they also get used as pawns in this game by this hidden hand, by, you know, against one minority against the other. Of course, you know, you have the aspect of, you know, the supremacies that are there. They want to keep themselves in place. And that's, unfortunately, that's what it is. I mean, even in my neighborhood where I live, they had these drug dealers that were surveilling Muslims and Muslim communities. And they were confidential informants. And that is unfortunate, right? That is unfortunate that you put one against the other, while one is the one that's actually doing the bad stuff, watching people who are not doing anything. So that's unfortunate. And the other aspects is having many of them that go into certain mosques to be CIs or to keep an eye on people or to set people up. So, you know, that's the thing. You got to be able to break free from that chain and not be easily controlled or easily swayed, even with what we have seen with the anti-Asian hate attacks. So all of our brothers and sisters, we need to stick together. I'm not here condemning anybody. I'm just stating the things that I have observed. We all need to come together and uplift one another, because that's the only way we'll be able to escape this paradigm of that certain supremacy, you know, without me saying anything extra, that wants to have us against each other. Instead, we should be coming together and uplifting one another. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what I wanted to highlight in the beginning of my message is that you have these different groups that claim love, light, and happiness. And I'll put that in the description below, where they talk about keeping an eye on the enemies of the faith. And yeah, I have experienced something like that recently. And I'm not intimidated. I'm still with the Fatimiyya. This is not anything that's new to me. I've been in these uncharted territories before. And that's what it is. If you're on that path of enlightenment, just know that sometimes you are going to stir up a certain power structure and they're going to want to shut you up. That's just the nature of the game with so many people that have been taken down throughout history. And thankfully now with the internet, all my work is archived on the internet for free for anyone to use as they wish. And I hope they actually learn something from it and apply it to their lives and their dealings with selves and others. Many people will think, hey Sal, because of your background and who you are, wouldn't you be immune to this gang stalking stuff because of who you are and your background and affiliations? It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. At the end, if the agents of chaos see you as a threat, then it doesn't matter who you are or what you're affiliated with. You are seen as a threat to their control. And that's just what it is. You just have to keep doing what you're doing. And I wanted to make sure that this was put out there as soon as possible. I wasn't going to put out any videos till April, but with this recent incident, I want to make sure that this has been put on file on my YouTube channel, not only, but also at the same time I have done my proper duty as a citizen and followed up with my local law enforcement as well. In case I see these characters on my area again, make sure they are properly reported and apprehended. So whoever these agents of chaos or the hidden hand behind them that's trying there to intimidate me, just know that this is a sorry tactic, and people like you, I chew them up and I spit them out with the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's that, to keep this video nice, short, and to the point. And I wish you all a great, great month of April ahead. I'm going to have some great content coming up, and I hope you like it, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.